As I said, I'm going to be talking about different types of mental illnesses each and every single week, and just for us to know how can we support the people. So I'm going to start by firstly explaining what is that mental illness, and then get into, okay, how can we see that the person is suffering, and then after that, what can we do if the person is suffering, right? So the first thing that I'm going to touch on today is depression. I know depression is the one thing that a lot of people feel like they have, or it's a word that is used quite loosely. So I thought to myself, okay, cool, let me just take 1 second, 2 seconds to just explain what depression is. Simply put, depression is a mood disorder that causes persistent sadness and loss of interest in almost everything. But there is different types of depression. Firstly, we have major depression, or also called clinical depression, where the person's thoughts, feelings, and behavior are completely affected, and this might cause emotional as well as physical problems. And then we have situational depression, which is triggered by a traumatic event. So, for example, if someone has experienced a very traumatic event, it might be difficult for them to go back and adjust into their normal day-to-day life and do the things that they normally were doing every day because of they have gone through this trauma. So that is then called situational depression. And then we also have bipolar, which I'm going to touch on in the next few weeks to come, but we have also other different types of depression that you can check out. All right, so now that we know the different types of mental illnesses, we need to know what can we do to help our people as their supporters. Firstly, before the person gets diagnosed by a doctor, they might be showing some signs such as not wanting to participate in anything, sleeping a lot, wanting to isolate themselves a lot. They might have persistent sadness that might be lasting for about 2 to 3 weeks. So mostly doctors are saying that the sadness will last for quite a long time. And then there's those things that people love doing. So if maybe it's playing soccer, they don't even want to play soccer anymore. So that's when we might start being worried. But remember, only doctors can diagnose depression. You can't just assume that people are depressed because they're showing these signs. Once the person has been diagnosed by a doctor that they are dealing with depression, we need to make sure that we show them that we are with them and we are not against them. They might be very irritable and very defensive, but it's important that we make sure that they know that we are for them. Instead of saying things like get out of bed, why don't you go sit in the sun, why don't you go play with other people or go see your friends, you can rather ask them, I can see that you are struggling to get out of bed, how can I help you? And you need to listen to what they say. If they tell you what to do, you need to do that. If they say bring me water, you bring them water and not tea. If they say leave me alone, you leave them alone. If maybe after a few hours you want to go back and check up on them, you can do that, and maybe then they can be open enough to say something or tell you what they need. If they don't, let them be until they're strong enough to start communicating with you. Secondly, most depressed people feel like they are unworthy of love. They might be blaming themselves for whatever that is going on. Maybe things are not happening, or they're not getting a job, or because you could be depressed for whatever reason. We need to keep reassuring them that we love them. So every time, if it's your friend, you need to send that I love you friend message, that you are great, you are amazing. Yes, they will not believe you in the beginning, but as time goes on, maybe those words are going to affirm them, and then they will bring them back to life. So over and over again, we just keep telling them, I love you, you are great, you are amazing, you're doing well, you look better today, you've done better today, you've gotten out of bed, okay, now I can see that you are better, you are improving. That gives them the reassurance that, okay, I can fight this, I can fight this. So they need our support. Just keep sending those I love you babes messages, keep sending those I love you babe messages until they can function again. And then also, we need to show a lot of sympathy and understanding. A lot of depressed people spend a lot of time thinking about the situation that they are in, but you pointing it out to them that they're feeling sorry for themselves, it's not going to make things any easier. So you saying snap out of it, just go get a job already, it's not going to help the situation. Rather, if you don't have anything nice to say, rather say I'd like to send you a hug. I'd like to take you out for ice cream. I wish I could hug you right now. Kisses, kisses, things like that. Or say nothing, because you telling them about different options might not help at that particular point in time, because they might feel like you are saying they can't think for themselves. So only when the time is right, you can now start giving them options of saying, okay, how about you apply here for a job? How about you do this? But when they are better, but while they're still in a very dark space, try not to give them solutions to their problem. Just listen to them. And then if you have a solution and you can't find a way to get out of it, don't say anything. Just send kisses, send hugs, only because you saying, man, why don't you just do this? Why don't you just start that business? Is not going to help. You're just going to push them deeper and deeper into a dark space. Lastly, but most importantly, you need to take care of yourself. You need to take care of yourself, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. So when you are taking care of someone that is depressed, you're going to be depleted. Or someone that is suffering from any kind of mental illness, you're going to be depleted. So if you love shopping, you need to make time to go shopping. If you love chilling with your friends, going out for coffee, you need to make time to do that, so that you can be able to fill up your cup. Then you can come back and take care of this person. So it's very, very important that you also take care of yourself. I cannot emphasize that enough. If you need to talk to a professional, please visit the South African Depression and Anxiety Group or the South African Federation of Mental Health on these details.